late, you're late, you're late for a very important date. Melissa, you know as well as I do, the Red Queen gets very angry when she doesn't get her TPS reports in time. Fine, I don't care if she takes your head off. It's Monday again, that wonderful, dreaded day of the week that somehow we mere mortals have to get through. You have somehow managed to crawl out of the sloth that is your bed. Now you have to make your way off to see the evil queen, and you had to leave. Oh hey, 10 minutes ago. Surely one would think not enough time to actually have a nutritional breakfast, but wait, because I've got a trick for you. Luckily for us, this breakfast takes no time to prepare. You can grab it out the door on your way to work or school or wherever, and lucky for us, it's Sunday the night before. So to get us ready for a week of healthy, hearty, easy to grab, on-the-go breakfasts, grab yourself a drink, crank up that music, and let's get cooking. So to get us started, you're going to want to set your oven to 300 or 375 degrees, depending on how hot your oven tends to run. If they run hotter, set it to about 350. If they don't, crank it up to 375. Now to assemble our ingredients. What you're going to need for this dish is So one of the joys about this breakfast is that you can really fill it with anything. Whatever you like, whatever you don't like. It's very user-friendly, especially if you have any kind of allergies, except I haven't found a way to make them vegetarian or vegan. Sorry. A good rule of thumb when you're making these is try to keep the ingredients to about 3, and what you're gonna need is 1, you're gonna need something for structure. For this, I like to use sweet potatoes because not only does it help kind of bind together when you shred it, but also it gives you that nice kick of vitamin A and a whole bunch of other really great stuff that I'm going to put somewhere on this screen because I don't remember all the vitamins in sweet potatoes off the top of my head. But you can use any kind of potatoes, any kind of really fibrous vegetables, because that will help the egg to hold everything together. Second piece of that I like to add is some kind of aromatic, like onion or garlic. For this one, we're actually going to be using green onions, not only because I love how it looks, but because green onions are just easier to cut up. That's all there is to it. And then the third, I like to bump up the protein and the flavor a little bit by adding our old friend, bacon. I swear one of these days there's going to be a meme of that running around. I can just feel it. So to make a batch, which usually runs about 12-ish depending, I use about 6 slices of bacon. So take your chef's knife. Always pretty useful whenever you go to cut anything to use a honing blade. I'm not sure if we covered this or not, so I'll cover it while I'm sharpening my blade. Technically, you're not really sharpening. What you're doing, besides annoying everyone by having it super close to the mic, is you're straightening the blade. This will help it to cut better, but it doesn't make it technically sharper. In order to do that, you need a whetstone, or my favorite is just take it to your local grocer. If they have a meat counter, chances are they'll sharpen it for you. Or you can go to places like Sur La Table, which will sharpen all your knives for $5. It's not bad. Hashtag not sponsored. So take your 6 slices of bacon, and we're just gonna cut this into what I'm sure you guys have heard me go on and on about, lardons. Now, if you find your bacon tough to cut, great trick to do with this is to stick your bacon in the freezer for about 5 minutes before you cut it. That'll help to solidify the fat and make it a lot easier for your knife to make it through. Take a nice wide pan and put all your lovely bacon pieces in it. Now remember, you always want to start bacon off in a cold pan. That gives you the best chance to render out most of the fat without it kind of solidifying itself by being charred. So we're going to put this on the stove, bring it up to medium heat, and put in a good amount of freshly cracked black pepper, a little bit of salt. You want to help the fat to be able to get the liquid out. And my personal favorite, red pepper flake, because I like a little kick in the morning. Okay, take your potato or whatever you're using for fibrous vegetable, and you're going to want to grab yourself a peeler. So when do you use a peeler versus when do you use a paring knife? You use a peeler for anything that you planned to skin that's not something like a tomato. A tomato, you'd want to use a paring knife. Things like carrots, potatoes, things like that, you want to use a peeler. A peeler is going to give you the best bang for your buck and won't get somewhat dangerous as using a paring knife. And now for what's probably the most laborious part of making this dish, we have to grate this potato. Now, if you are fortunate to have a food processor, it's going to be the easiest way to do this. But I know food processors can get very, very expensive, and not everyone has the money or the counter space for it. So, we're going to do this by hand. Now, you can either do this with a stand grater. I like to use this one, and again, I'm not sponsored. I believe this one is from OXO. I'll put the link down below if you guys want to check it out. It's not an affiliate link. I'm not making any money off this. Trust me, if affiliate links become available, you guys will know without a doubt it's an affiliate link. And the reason why I like this is because it combines a whole lot of tools into one, and it's ungodly affordable. First, I'm gonna take the ends off. This is the one downside about this. It does not solve for the problem of food still going everywhere. I have yet to find a solution for this. If you guys happen to have any tips or tricks on how you guys like to catch all the little pieces that love to go flying over the room like shrapnel, please let me know in the comments down below. Okay, now that we have our sweet potato nice and shredded, we're gonna put this in with the bacon. Make sure to really, really coat all of the sweet potato in the bacon fat, because that's gonna help to keep it from sticking to your pan. Now, each time we add a layer into the pan, you wanna make sure you add a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper, because we're adding more to there, it all needs to be seasoned. Finally, the last part of our prep, while that is getting nice and crispy and this green onion is having an issue. While that's getting all nice and crispy in the pan is we need to dice up our green onion. So with green onions, I like to start from the bottom, line them all up, take your chef's knife, and just take off those ends. Then we're gonna line up the bottom parts and just start slicing through. By the way, if you guys would like a video on some knife basics, let me know. All right, we're gonna make a hole in the center of the pan, pushing all the sweet potato and all the bacon out to the outside because we want to cook these fast and quick. So crank up the heat to a medium high, and we're going to add in our green onion. Okay, we're gonna let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes until the onions just start to break down a little bit, and then we're gonna crank off the heat and move it to a colder part of the stove. Okay, now that our mixture, or technically a hash, has cooled down a bit, we need to get everything assembled so we can add in the egg. Now, I'm kind of excited to try this. I spotted this over at Sur La Table when I went shopping for a plate and wound up walking home with way more than I needed. This being one of them. Again, not sponsored. So this is by a company called Trudeau. And what it is a completely silicone muffin pan. So not only is silicone absolutely great for making sure that things are non-stick, but this comes with a little surprise. Yep, you can pop them out from underneath. Now, I have not tested this yet, so I'm gonna hedge my bets a little bit and go ahead and spray 3 rows of this, and I'm gonna leave the 4th unsprayed because I wanna see how this holds up with cooking spray or without. This is silicone, it should not need cooking spray, but I'm not gonna risk a whole pan of egg frittatas on that. So I'm gonna block the control and give the rest of these just a little bit of a spray. Now, if you are not using one like this, you're gonna wanna make sure that you spray the heck out of this stuff because egg is very, 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 very sticky. You'll have a hard time getting it out. So we're gonna take some tongs and we're going to equally divide this into all of the cups, and then we're gonna pour in the eggs. Now, you don't need a lot. I like to fill these up about halfway because I don't want the eggs to overflow. The bigger these things are, the structurally more unstable they become. So we try to keep them a little bit small because then they'll hold together better. Now, depending on the size of your sweet potato, you may have enough for all of these, you may not. That's the nice thing about mixing this separately from the eggs. Then you don't wind up with more egg than filling, and you can control the proportions. These things will last in the fridge for about 4 to 5 days. I like to pull them at about the 4 mark. Normally they don't even really last that long anyways because I eat about 3 of them on my way out the door. So for the eggs, you're probably going to use somewhere between 5 and 7 eggs. Usually I aim for about 6, but I like to mix them all into one of these. Because not only does it help to pour, but also reduces the number of stuff that I gotta clean after. So take your eggs and take your whisk and really whip the heck out of them. Especially if these are super cold, they're not gonna wanna pour all that easily. Now, you can add cheese to this, you can add anything else that you want. Ricotta works really well. Be a little bit careful though, because the more stuff that you add to this, the less structurally sound it's going to be. So if you do use a cheese, I recommend a good melty cheese or a cheese that doesn't melt at all. Ricotta will thin this out. I love ricotta and eggs, but these won't hold together as muffins. Or frittatas, I should say. So we're going to pour over each of the mixtures just until it covers. We don't want to pour higher than that because these are going to grow a little bit when they bake. So we're going to stick this in the oven for about 12 minutes. Now likely this is going to require more than 12, but you want to start watching it at about the 12-minute mark because eggs, once they get going, they can hit overcooked really fast. So keep an eye on it after 12 minutes, watch it every minute or two, and once it starts to get just a little bit brown around the edge, that's when you're going to want to pull it because this thing is going to continue to cook once you remove it from the oven. Alright, so these wound up cooking for about 13 minutes. This oven tends to get really, really hot, so I'm not surprised. So as you can see, the frittatas themselves have kind of come away from the sides. It has on the sides that we sprayed. I'm not surprised there. But here are the ones we want to test. These, again, have no cooking spray whatsoever. Let's see how easy they are to pop out. Holy crap. That really worked. Okay. There's still a fair amount of heat in this thing, so be careful, watch your fingers. The true test, of course, is this going to be able to still perform this well after about 20, 30 times of use, but I have to use it 19 more times for us to be able to test that. But all in all, at least in the early stages, it seems to perform exactly as it did with just a cooking spray. Plus, with the ability to pop these out, this is going to be so much easier to clean. And there you have it. All you need to do now is take about 2 or 3, wrap them up in some saran wrap, and pop them in the fridge. Then, in the morning, all you need to do is take them out of the saran wrap, pop them onto some paper towels or a napkin, pop it into the microwave for about 20 seconds, and you are good to go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please be sure to tune in next week as we are going to be doing some viewer-submitted recipes, one of which I'm so excited for because it's been a long time since I've had it, which is chicken parmesan. So if you guys happen to have any tips or tricks of how you guys like to make chicken parmesan, please be sure to put it down in the comments below, or you can hit me up on my social media that's also below. If you'd like to get the notification when that video goes live, please be sure to click the subscribe button. It's somewhere. It's a circle. I haven't quite figured out yet my end frames. Thanks guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.